I wanted to say a few words to introduce the theme this year, and so I called my presentation The Meaning of Life course. We're at the 9th summit. It's an amazing thing. For some of you, that may take you back into your personal history too far to actually remember any of this. So I wanted to sort of just show you some of the topics that we've been through. We took a decided turn in 2009, and that's the color change that we see there. So I just wanted to say that that period before 2009 was a lot about HIV rising in the gay men's community. We saw a near doubling of HIV around 2001. And so we were very concerned about that, and our gay health agenda was really still very much focused on HIV and the problem that was coming up there. And so those sort of topics were very focused on that, and things really began to change when we started looking at determinants. So on. I think what we saw here was that the more we got into determinants, the more we realized there's so much to talk about with gay men's health other than behavior related to HIV. And as we found out, a lot of what we have to talk about is somehow related to behavior affecting HIV. So this is kind of where we've gotten to, where we're now seeing the wider scope, and some people call this the eco-social model of health, in which we are including not only the personal factors that go into health, but also all of the relations, the people around us, the society around us, the structures around us. And this sort of takes another look at that same list and the theories that we actually began to deal with as we got into the eco-social model. When we got into determinants of health, we found out that we actually can't do determinants of health research with gay men because we're excluded from population data. And so that was right away a kind of problem that we faced. How do you do population health research if you don't have the data? And mostly we don't have that data because there's no designation for gay men on a lot of the large health databases in Canada. We got into intersectionality in 2010, and there we saw that in spite of the fact that we couldn't do population health research, that methods were developing that could help us do this eco-social research. And we saw part of the future developing in intersectionality, and actually became part of the work of applying intersectionality and improving our understanding of intersectionality as we went along. The next year, we looked at a closely related theory, minority stress and syndemics. And there we saw that multiple social stressors affect health outcomes in gay men. And we heard about the research that had gone into minority stress and syndemics that showed that. And by the time we got to last year, we actually had a database of our own in which we could look at prejudice and social location and how that affected health from our own data. And there we saw, in fact, that employment discrimination does affect gay men's health outcomes. And we noted that 22% of gay men were reporting employment discrimination in all age groups. And so this year, we're moving on to look at age groups themselves, and through life course theory, and focusing on how time, historical time, and our place, our location geographically, affects our life courses. It turns out that as we've been doing this, we've pretty much met all of the different what are known as theoretical perspectives in the Institute of Medicine report, which was published in the United States just a couple of years ago. And there you see the model from IOM, in which minority stress, life course, intersectionality, and social ecology are all mentioned as ways in which we could build that foundation for better understanding. So it's kind of a triumph for CBRC to have embraced all of this and to actually be able to make something out of all of these. They all represent disciplines in themselves, and we've been able to use them now in our own research to help us develop this understanding of gay men's health much better than we ever have before. And we're really glad to have gone in this direction. So we're going to come up against some new terms as we enter this. And I just wanted to deal with a few of them right off. When we talk of lifespan, we're talking about the whole thing from from beginning to end, from birth to death. And we don't want to confuse that with life course, in which we're talking about the events that happen in that lifespan. So don't confuse, when you mean lifespan, don't confuse it with life course, I guess is the injunction here. Life course, as we'll find out, means far more than the events, and I think we'll use our guest speakers to help us learn some of this, and in this situation we're all learning. The idea of generation is talked about in life course, and I think that there's probably about 3 generations and maybe 4 in this room. So generation is a way of talking about groups of people who were born during different years. And in life course, the preferred concept is to talk about birth cohorts. So we're really talking about similar kinds of things with generation and birth cohort, but birth cohort is the more accurate way of describing it. But since most people talk about generations, we will continue to use generation where it seems like it's fitting. And then the idea of longitudinal. In the surveys that Sex Now has always done, we've looked at a cross-section. We're taking one moment in time. And in life course theory, the preferred method is to look at big pieces of time. Some of you might know of the 7-Up project that was done in England, which is now, I think, it's just released 56 up. This is a longitudinal documentary film that has taken a glimpse of a same group of people every 7 years for now 56 years. And each time has gone back into the lives of this group of people and portrayed them as they are in the age that they're being looked at, 14, 21, you get the idea. That is longitudinal research. And it's our great hope to bring longitudinal research into Sex Now survey, where in our future year, what we're planning to do is to include some technical device in which people will be remembered when they do the survey in the following years. And so we want to create a cohort in which we pick up through the cycles of the survey people's experience as they move on in life. And so that's one of the things that we're planning to do as a result of our engagement with life course theory this year. So the question comes up, is there a generation gap in gay men? And there sure seems to be. There's been some writing about it. You see here Globe and Mail, the New York Magazine, and Village Voice. They all seem to suggest that there's some kind of generation gap going on. And this is one portrayal meant to be a little bit humorous of the generational divide that exists right now, as described in that Village Voice article last year. And you'll see on the left side how boomers and Gen X have been talking about Gen Y, or the millennials. And on the right side, how Gen Y has been talking about Gen X and the boomers. I don't know, when I look at this, I think, boy, they're talking about the way, they're really talking about the way boomers, or I would say boomers for myself included here, but I think they're talking about the way boomers are portrayed at this point in their life, but all of those same things said on the left side were said of us when we were that age. So I think the reality is that there will always be a generational divide. Some of the things that we want to look at to describe gay generations are intergenerational differences in behavior. Our attitudes towards health and prevention, are they different? What are the go-to knowledge sources, since the internet and social media have played such a role in this generation? And what is the attachment to social media and the differences in generations? And to recognize that there are several generations of us working in the same workplace in gay health now. And that we've been through different traumas, the cyberbullying that the current generation has been through, and of course AIDS for the boomers. And we'll see in the summit discussion that there are going to be various places in which we take up this discussion. We'll talk about location, migration, and the life course this morning. And age, life course, and gay health will be featured tomorrow. The investigators' presentation, youth engaged in social science research. There will be a presentation on empowering millennials. And of course, there's another presentation on the program Totally Outright and leadership training and what's happening there. I just wanted to leave you with this, again, a humorous presentation of the four generations, which would include my parents' generation, the greatest generation. And I'll let you just... I'll just let you have a look at this while I conclude and wait for the next presentation. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful conference.